In today's video, I will be showing you how to land on Duna, as you can see, and do some experiments with the breaking ground. And we will do it as a complete set. We will show the research. We will be showing how to build an Apollo-style lander to be able to get to the Duna, land there, perform science experiments, and then return back. So, including also the flying, the orbital rendezvous with the lander, and so everything you need in order to completely successfully execute an Apollo-style mission to Duna. Yes, including the rendezvous and the docking and the return back to Kerbin, hopefully everything being intact. So this is something between a tutorial and a let's play. For those of you that have been wondering, let's go to the research. So what I'm actually researching is the heavier rocketry. I don't think I will be going into the very heavy rocketry because it's not exactly needed. I will research the baguette tanks and the small tanks. Then everything is a little bit accelerated because there's so much to cover and so little time. So yeah, I'm gonna research those. As you can tell, we have lots and lots of science that we have gotten in the previous episode where we have been going and farming science on Minmus. If you haven't checked out that episode and it's interesting, I'm gonna be putting the link in the description below. But for the time being, let's just focus on all the science nodes that we can actually unlock to be able to go to Duna. So not all of them are required, and I know the purists among you will argue, of course, you know, you have things to do and places to see, but this is just, you know, my way after Minmus. What did I unlock? So if you're following and playing along, I think you will find it very useful and right down your alley. So I'm actually looking, I was very much trying to deliberate which component shall I take. Some of them because of the bigger fairings, the miniaturization because of the science experiments, or the precision engineering, which I ended up taking in the end because I really wanted the weather experiments since we're going to Duna, you know. Alright, then we're talking, now let's talk about building a craft. I will be taking 3 Kerbal team, and mainly it will be, I think, Jeb, Bill and Bob and whatnot. So I've put in the capsule and I've put in the science capsule on top of it because I will really need the science capsule to be able to return and take all those experiments from Duna back to Kerbin. So as always, I'm building it, you know, in reverse. So now I'm designing the stage that will be splashing on Kerbin. So that's my kind of first objective. You have to, when you're designing those missions, you have to always think backwards. So we're thinking like, okay, 3 Kerbals, we do want an engineer, we do want a scientist, and we do want a pilot. So all 3 essentially. Then we want some, you know, electricity, place for science experiments. You want the parachutes for returning. You want to be able to perform, well, all of those beautiful things that we know and love in terms of science, getting there. And I don't think the scanning arm will be needed there. All right, so that's the stage which will be splashing on Kerbin. Right, and as you can see, I have attached also the lights because the lights will be able to tell us with landings and whatnot where we are. Then we have a decoupler, we have an steering unit, SAS unit, because that will basically keep our aircraft stable. Or then we will be placing the service bay, and in that service bay we will be placing the materials bay. Wait, hold on a second, shall I be placing like this, maybe with a fairing? Maybe. I could be placing the things with the fairing, shall I be, but hold on. Let's put this power supply, and I'm actually thinking something along these lines. Then we put like these 2 big folders, but hold on, I don't need this because the experiments will be performed by the lander. I always forget these things. So this is actually the stage that will be returning from Duna back to Kerbin. Yes. So first was the splashdown on Kerbin, then return back from Duna back to Kerbin, and that's a total of 3000 delta V. That's more than enough to actually get us back. Then we are now starting to design the actual lander, the Apollo, or the small lander that will be landing on the surface of Duna. So that's why I actually took it as a stage separator rather than the decoupler. Yes. So we have to put now a lander can. There we go. And I'm thinking I'm gonna keep the smaller lander because I want my rocket to be sleek, you know. So when we're taking this, I'm gonna put an SAS module because we cannot forget this. It has to be able to, you know, perform. Then we're gonna put some batteries because the lander itself doesn't have batteries at the moment. Then we place some photovoltaic panels to keep it powered. Of course, the lights to be able to understand when we'll be landing. And don't forget, this is an atmospheric lander, meaning we have to have parachutes. Those are really important. So 4 parachutes, and then I'm thinking also we would be placing the also the drogue chutes, I'm thinking. Then we need some sort of, let's say, place these 2 big boys, and I'm thinking we need also some drogue chutes. So if I move these lights above, I'm basically showing you guys the whole process, and the lights I've turned in the reverse, and those reverse lights will be used for docking after we have visited the surface of Duna and when we'll be doing the rendezvous and the docking with the command module. Alright, so we have the drogue chutes on top. Now I have to have somewhere the science can, and I'm actually thinking of cramming it into the service bay. We wanted the service bay on the main craft, but that one it will not be performing experiments, so I'm thinking this is almost better. So okay, then we have the mystery goo, we have the science bay, and we should cram all the experiments literally here. Okay, magnetometer boom, there we go. Let's put in some RCS tanks, because those RCS tanks we will need actually for the rendezvous. There we go. Okay, that looks good. I mean, there is minor clipping, and minor clipping I'll allow. I don't like to clip too many things in, but minor clippings I will allow. Alright, I'm putting experiments on this side so it will be easier to, you know, to empty them and pick up data from them if we ever need to get to such part. There we go. Then we want to be taking on some ladders that will, I mean, technically on Duna you can still fly up, but I prefer to use the ladders. They're much more, you know, nice and nifty. Okay, then I also, you might be asking, why am I putting the RCS thruster on the command module? Well, in the historical missions that I've been doing, sometimes I had the lander ran out of the RCS thrust, and then your mission is essentially, you know, foobarred. So you don't want it to be like this. So I'm thinking, just let's see. No, I will return this. Yeah, this looks actually better. Okay, so essentially, in the worst case scenario, where you actually expend all of your RCS fuel and thrusters, you still want the command module to be able to come to the lander if push comes to shove. So we don't know how much delta V the lander will expand until it gets to the rendezvous with the command module. Of course, we do the calculations, but it's good to have a safety margin nonetheless. And since this stage will be returning, as you're seeing the command module, I have stripped it of all experiments because we really don't need all the experiments, because that one just needs an experiment can, because it will be taking all of the experiments from the lander. Lander is the one who will be performing the experiments. All right, there we go. Good. There's the lander can. There's everything there is in it. And then I'm hoping for some, let's close this. Oh, this is a little bit clipped. I will need to clip this a little bit more inside. Okay, let's do it like this. I'm gonna be placing the mystery goose here. Good. And the rest of you guys, I want to be clipping in a little bit more inside. So how do we do it? I'm gonna place you maybe like these. Ah, that could work. Shall I put like these and then just cram them in slightly? Okay, technically this is a gray area, but it looks okay and I'm okay with it. Let's just say the lack of the proper parts is here playing the key role, so let's keep it like that. Alright, now we want to be having a fuel tank underneath it, because we need a fuel. In this stage, we only need enough fuel to basically propulsively land on Duna, and I'm not talking full propulsively, but propulsively with the aid of the parachutes, and then take off from Duna and rendezvous with the lander, which actually doesn't put a very high amount of delta V requirements on the lander itself, because the return back to Kerbin will be performed by the command module. Right, so let's put the RCS thrusters. Let's see, we have 1500 delta V meters per second. That's not ideal, but I think we should use a little bit more. And thrust to weight on Duna atmospheric is more than enough, so if I place like these, tanks here. They will give us also a wider leg base, which I think is great for the lander, and it will give us some extra fuel. So I think those will be actually working just fine. Hold on, I don't want a four-way symmetry, I want one-way symmetry, come on. Or actually no symmetry at all. There we go. Let's close the ladders, see, and now let's put the landing legs. And I'm still thinking that those will be able to fit in a regular fairing if we put a 2.5 meter fairing. I'm designing it to be, you know, as wide as possible, but also as sleek as possible, because we do want it to cram it into the fairing itself. Okay, I'm not going to be placing the arm. I think this looks good enough in my book. 2.3 thousand meters per second. That's okay in my book. So now, shall I be placing the large solar panels here? I don't think so. I wanted it to look cool, but, you know, it will work. Alright. I'm actually happy with this design. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be attaching the, you know, stage separator again, and then the fairing. And if you can tell, the fairing 2.5 meter, it will be widened by a little bit, but not by too much. And I think I'm okay with this. Alright, so now we need to just check our staging, make sure that everything is all right there. Good. There we go up. Another SAS unit. Then we're gonna put the big boy, and now this is the stage that will hopefully get all of the above to Duna. So that's something that we really need to think about. It's 1.7 thousand meters per second. That alone is not in, well, maybe it is enough to get to Duna, but it's not enough also to break around Duna and get orbital inserted. I'm talking powered insertion. I'm not talking the aero brake, because I don't have the components for the aero braking. I could put in the huge shield, and maybe actually I will in the future. Let's see, when it comes to the breaking ground experiments, I want to be placing those somewhere, because I mean, why else would I be taking this? So this could be actually transmitting. Spoiler alert, they won't be transmitting until I get the satellite network done, but once the satellite or the one relay is done, they will be able to transmit. So yeah, I'm not gonna be doing the relay in this mission. That will have to come in the future missions. So right now I'm just focusing on exploring the system and having you guys, you know, enjoy and know how to build a lander to Duna. These episodes, guys, that I'm doing have always a single purpose, and this one is get a lander to Duna, perform the experiments, and return it back. So the relay network, it's not, if you really want all-in-one solutions, then you might want to check my career Let's Play that I have on this channel. So, and maybe other Let's Plays that I've been doing historically, like Interplanetary Voyage and whatnot. I'm going to be posting the links to all of these in the description of this video. There you go. Alright, so there we go. This is the build. I will have to check some final design, you know, of course check the staging, and I'm putting a lot of separatrons, because these rockets are massive. They really need separatrons to be able to detach properly. So that's one of the big, you know, components of this, and I'm really auto-strutting everything because, well, you know, we need it. And now we're going to be talking about staging. So first we will be detaching the left and the right side booster, and then the front and the back, looking respectively on this picture. So now I'm just trying to find a correct set groups of the Sepratron boosters that need to fire the same time when the decouplers fire. So yeah, and that's, I think, boosters always first and third, because I've been putting them, you know, circularly around. So yeah, there we go. All right, there we go. You go up, and now the center stage and the side boosters will ignite at the same time. Okay, let's put some fins just to make sure that the, you know, craft is aerodynamically stable on ascent. It's not always a requirement, but I like always that my center of lift is behind my center of mass. I know that's a rule mostly for planes, but I tend to do it for the rockets as well. You never know when the Kraken is gonna hit, so that's the idea. Okay, so this is sort of, think of this like a tutorial how to build a Duna Apollo lander. Now, as I fix my staging, we will be going into the second part, how to fly it, how to, you know, send it to Duna, how to plan a maneuver, how to do the rendezvous. I mean, and also in the end I added up the big I realized that the lander didn't have a means of re-entry on the Duna, not a re-entry but an entry on Duna, and that's why I actually added an additional huge heat shield, so just to make sure that we don't burn up, because we could get there, we could slow down, and eventually we could burn up in the Duna's atmosphere or whatnot, so I didn't want to risk it for the biscuit. So there we go. Our delta V on paper isn't stellar, it says 5.2, but I think it's actually way more because we have to consider, you know, the Apollo style lander. Okay, 6.7, I still think it's way more. I think we're talking around 8,000 meters per second delta V in total. Yeah, KSP is good, but it doesn't plan for, you know, Apollo style missions. So, alright. There we go. Now I'm showing you how to do a transfer to Duna, and this is using stock. So you go to the alarm clock, you say you want to transfer, and then you just press, you know, advanced time. Here I forgot also to, you know, set my action groups. It's just, you don't need it, you could do it everything manually, but I just thought it would be handier if we could plan the action groups. I think it would be nicer and easier for everybody. So yeah, there we go. All right. Also, I like to keep all of my experiments in one group, and then, you know, the experiment can that will be sucking all those experiments in a second one, but then you can just spam, you know, like 5, 6, 5, 6, and you're doing quickly experiments and collecting them in the experiments can, so to say. There we go. We have this to have the unfolding of the solar panels, and I think we are good. Alright, I think that's all. The sharp item menu, will notice that I did have a tiny flaw, but it will show a little later on in the video. Alright, time for the launch. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Sorry, I didn't time that right. Alright, so as you can tell, we are burning. Our thrust weight is 1.5 on the start, and I typically look for my thrust weight to be around 1.5 at the start, and I like to keep it not higher than 1.9. So as you will tell right now, when we're going up, I'm trying to also decrease the throttle by a little bit to keep my thrust weight usually around 1.8 mark. There we go, another 20 seconds of burning with this stage, and then we will be decoupling the first set of boosters. Hopefully with those separatrons they will have enough oomph to be able to, you know, decouple. Also, I'm showing you everything between 2 and 3 times time of acceleration, because it took me like, I think, 3 hours for the entire episode to record, build and everything, and I've managed to cram it down to 48 minutes. This episode, I'm not skipping anything, because I want you guys to see everything, how it's done from start to finish. So I will be providing the timestamps in the description, so if you feel like you already know one part of it, feel free to use them to skip to the part that's interesting to you. Alright, so now we are putting a maneuver node to get into 100-kilometer orbit, because all of my burns are planned with a 100-kilometer orbit in mind. So we will start the burn in 1 minute and 0 seconds. Pointing the craft, maneuver prograde. We have Jebediah Kerman, who is an experienced pilot, so we do have an option here on this, you know, marks to actually use it. There we go. Alright, let's advance time a little bit. The burn will be in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and burn. There we go. A total burn will be around 900, and now let's detach the boosters. There we go. And now on the center stage we have 1,400 meters per second, which is more than enough to get us to orbit, with some reserve for the, you know, inclination fix, and also for the fix to basically eject us out of the Kerbin system. That's why I told you, you know, the stack of getting us to Duna is not enough. However, boosted by this initial booster, we should have enough in theory. Okay, so now we are orbital. I'm detaching the fairing because it's just an extra mass, which we don't want to be using. The solar panels are unfolded and the antenna is unfolded. So Using the maneuver tool, we are now creating a transfer to Duna, as you can tell, and that will be happening in 26 days, the maneuver node. Now, to be able to do a good skip, I'm just pointing the craft maneuver prograde, and then I will be advancing the time 26 days in the future. That's the part I'm probably gonna cart out, because I'm pretty sure all of you know how to, accelerate time in KSP. Yeah, like this essentially. So the burn is coming in 1 minute, and it will be 1034 meters per second, just enough to get us rid of the main stage, which I think it's beautiful. I wish I could say I planned this. Guys, honestly, I did not. But yeah, okay, hitting the burn, and then we will be ejecting ourselves to Duna. So when you're doing the burns, it's actually pretty much the same as when you're doing the burns to Moon and Minmus. The first part of the burn, I like to leave this as this cinematic view so that you get a nice chance to enjoy the burn. But then you switch to the map view to be able to, confirm that you have really secured an encounter with Duna. There we go, and as we are getting there, I'm actually... 2.5. Now I'm just gently patting the burn until I see that we have gotten a Duna encounter. Oh, there we go. 45 million, 41, 37. Okay, I think I'm actually happy with that. I'm not going to push it much more than this. We have a total of 38 meters per second in this stage. And I'm thinking, guys, honestly, I'm going to, detach it, because really there is no point of keeping 35 meters per second. It's a clunky, it's a little bit, and I think with the decoupling we might have also fudged our encounter with Duna, but I don't think so. So, enjoy the beautiful view as we leave the Kerbin Sphere of Influence, alright. And now, once again, I'm going to be creating an alarm when we do an SOI change, which will be happening in 215 days. So there we go. Beautiful. There we go. We are coming closer. Amazing, right? I've never used the alarm clock. I'm always using in my Let's Play series, I'm using the transfer window planner and the Kerbal alarm clock mods. This is actually pure stock, and I really wanted to have everything stock except the Kerbal engineer, because it helps me with some telemetry that I need to. There we go. Now we are around Duna. We don't have the best encounter, but at least you can tell I'm trying to secure us an encounter where we can actually, it's a powered orbital insertion. So let's put ourselves maneuver prograde. This is, by the book. I mean, there are more advanced ways, and I know that you guys will actually tell me. And let's do the science, by the way, while I'm yapping here. So, because right now we have above Duna, high above Midlands, and some above Lowlands, to be honest. So there we go. We have performed our initial batch of science, and now we shall be doing the burn. 900 meters per second to burn, out of total 1500 in this stage. I think it will be just enough to get us very nice orbit around Duna, which is actually its sole purpose of this stage. So, all in all, I think this is actually turning out great. I wish I could tell you I tested this like many times. I just winged it and hoped for the best. But that's then again, that's a typical Kerbal style, isn't it? All right, so all right, let's see. We have this 13 minutes per second burn. All right. There we go. We'll do some experiments, and after that we'll be good. All right, grab the experiments. I have grabbed all the experiments, and Bob is actually going into the command module. He cleaned everything, restored the experiments, and right now I'm actually trying to make a nice orbital insertion and also inclination. I want to be equatorial compared to Ike. So first will be the orbital inclination change, making sure that we are, and then, okay, and I have also put the maneuver node as an alarm so that we know when we can burn. Typically, the reason why I'm actually making these alarms, you don't need to, but the reason why I'm making these alarms is because I want you guys to be able to enjoy these cinematic moments where you, just advance time and hide the UI, so you don't need to monitor everything, and you will be notified at the moment when you need to do the burn. So yeah, look at that. Amazing, isn't it? Come on, Duna. Hello, beautiful. Alright. I really love Duna. It's my favorite planet in the KSP. Alright, so the burn will be in 1 minute, and the alarm kicked in, as you can tell, so it's really good to have it as a reminder. Okay, 100 meters per second, great, amazing, and it doesn't need to be perfect, so we're not gonna do an encounter with Ike. I just wanted to be on the same plane. So, now, getting into a nice circular orbit will take us 338 meters per second out of our total 664. See? Just right. Leaving us with some 300 meters per second for the deorbit burn when we'll be, you know, putting in the lander. Alright. There we go. Nice and circular, hopefully. At around, yeah, 86 by 84. I think that orbit is actually great. So now let's get over to the sunny side of life. There we go. And I'm thinking here, at this point, I want to be undocking the lander from the command module and performing a flip to basically test that we can actually, you know, put them together. So first things first, actually, I want to be taking Bob out of the command module and into the lander can. Bob is a scientist and he will be getting to the surface of Duna. So, okay, control from here, and now let's decouple. There we go. Beautiful. We also control from here. We extend the solar panels just to make sure that Bob has electricity. It doesn't run out of electricity. There is a reason why I haven't yet detached the transfer stage, because the transfer stage we will use it also to deorbit the lander. Okay, now I'm just turning back the command module and let's test the docking, that everything is working fine. Technically we don't need to do that, but I thought it would be just cool to try it out. Okay, move aside, thank you. Normally in the real life you really don't want to use your rocket to push away the, yeah. There we go, docked, beautiful. Okay, so the docking works, everything looks correct. Let's just time warp until a nice section. There we go, some cool screen. And by the way, smash that like button to ensure that Bob does land safely on the surface of Duna. Yeah. What can I tell you? It's an extortionist. Everything. Alright, I'm just kidding. But, you know, smashing the like button allows me to have more coffee in my system when then I function better and perform better flights. So technically, what I'm telling you, it's not entirely wrong. Alright, so Bob has reset the experiments because we do want to be hitting experiments as we will be descending through the Duna's thin atmosphere. Alright. Gentlemen, are we ready? I would like to think so. Alright, turning off the lights not to consume too much power, and then we will be performing the decoupling, or sorry, undocking, not the decoupling, undocking. Wait, what did I miss? Undock, yes, there it is. And we are still doing the control from the command module, meaning that Jebediah and Bill are in control. I'm gonna put them, you know, like this, so they are well powered, and then we have the Mark 1 lander can, great. Okay, you will be performing a SAS, okay. I'm even thinking the RCS, just slightly thrust backwards so we don't end up hitting with our side boosters. Let's check at this maneuver node. Oh, I cannot do maneuver nodes. Right, and you know why? Because I don't have antennas. Yes, so I don't have the signal. So we have Bob in control, who is not a pilot. So we cannot do maneuver nodes. You know what that means? That means that the rendezvous back with the command module is gonna be a little bit challenging. So, yeah. Okay. Enable the engine, and I am performing the deorbit burn. I'm trying to set my periapsis to roughly 15-ish. Alright, then we're gonna do the decoupling at some point. Alright, I want to orient myself, you know, retrograde. There we go. Then we're going to be firing up the decoupler, aim the camera at this, and inflate the heat shield. Okay, I was trying to get rid of this, yeah, this component, but it will be fine. Let's just remove the solar panels. Good. And get ready for the re-entry. Change the camera angle. Bye-bye booster. The booster should eventually, you know, drop down and smash into the surface of Duna, and hopefully everything will be dandy. Alright, we are entering the Duna's atmosphere with this thick, you know... Oh, come on! Move away! Shoo! Shoo! There you go. Sorry, where was I? Ah, yes. Basically, inflating a huge heat shield, which will also act like a handbrake when we'll be landing on Duna. There we go. We are descending and our periapsis is dropping significantly. Right now we can actually already start opening the drogue chutes, but not yet the main chutes. And now we can open them all, which I will do. So first I'm going to open the drogue chutes. And then I'm going to be opening also the main chutes. Come on. Maybe, yeah, let's do the science as well. As we are dropping, we should not forget the science. There we go, and then the drogue should start to deploy, and hopefully the main chutes should deploy also. I am a little bit concerned because we're getting quite low and we're going really fast. Okay, we are decelerating. I'm not sure if we're decelerating enough. Landing legs, okay, good. Alright, this is control. One thing that worries me is the slope. We'll be landing on a surface that's 20 degrees inclination. Shit. Alright, that might be problematic. So I'm actually performing a series of small burns just to move out of the slope that's in 20s double digits. If I manage to get to, let's say, 10, I will be really happy. Oh, 11. Good. 10. Okay, okay, burn and land. Okay. Okay, that was a mini heart attack waiting to happen, but we managed to successfully land. Alright. Woohoo! Amazing. There we go. So, let's extend the landing legs. I don't know why I'm actually side-slipping on Duna, but I guess it's the 10 inclination. So, but yeah, okay. Collecting the science, performing all of the science experiments. Bob will be resetting those experiments and also performing, you know, planting the flag and all that jazz. So, yeah, that's okay, I guess. There we go. There we go. So planting the flag, you know, Duna lowlands. I think this is lowlands or midlands, I have no idea. And there's the screenshot that you saw at the beginning of the episode. Didn't I tell you I'm gonna show you how to get there? Yes, so do smash that like button if you already haven't done so. Sorry for reminding you, these episodes take quite a lot of time and effort to make, and I really want to know that you guys are enjoying it and that they are helpful to you in terms of doing your own science. There we go. So Bob Kerbin we're gonna do another set of experiments, mystery goo and material base notably, and all the other experiments, we're gonna collect them all here. There we go. And we must not forget that we also have a good set of experiments that we are supposed to be taking from the breaking ground experiment. So yeah. Let's go down and let's now do the science that we have. Alright, so let's see. Let's check it out and there we go. Yeah, another set of screenshots because the first time actually I forgot to turn on the lights, you know? So yeah, alright. Now, let's do the experiments. Where was I? Okay, thank you so much. Now, let's see. Oh shoot, I have both of these things with me. Okay, I could exchange. Can I dump those? I can, but oh boy. Okay, so another word of warning to you guys. You want to be removing stuff from your personal inventory because otherwise you might get into this situation. Fortunately, there is a good enough resolution to this, and we're gonna go here and let's check it out. So, we have one inventory slot in the lander can. That's actually really helpful. And then we're going to be taking... Okay, whoa. Stop faffing around, Bob. So there is another can slot here. So you can actually do this. And this will actually help you in terms of securing that everything goes fine. There we go. Now we're going to be dumping this experiment somewhere around here. Perfect. Then we're going to be... Yeah, see, it deployed. Oh, I really like... I think those experiments are really cute. Okay, now note that Bob is a scientist. He is not an engineer, meaning when deploying the solar panels there won't be any additional benefit. But we have deployed the main unit, the solar panel we're going to deploy right now, and we have deployed the communications antenna. Those three you need actually to be able to power experiments, do the experiments, and send them back. So I took one more experiment solar panel for the good measure, just to be on the safe side. And then we're taking the weather analyzer, and after that we will be taking the mystery goo. I just thought it would be, you can do whatever experiments you like, I just thought those would be irrelevant and those would really look cool. So let me know what your favorite experiments are. Okay, final experiment, and then we will be doing the ascent and rendezvous back. Alright. Okay, and of course we have to have the mandatory screenshot, because those are just cool. Oh yeah. Oh, what? You have something on your hands? Is it a mystery goo? You don't know? Oh boy. Alright. Let's go. Now it's time to go back and to rendezvous with... just take your parachute. Who knows? Maybe you will need it. After all, I'm not really that adept to flying. So, yeah. Okay, take your EVA unit, climb board. Now, as I said, we have a minor problem that we want solving, and that problem is we cannot create maneuver nodes to rendezvous, so we'll have to eyeball it. Oh boy, so I'm actually gonna wait till we get to the sunny side of life, so we don't do things in the dark. And typically I move the command module to be somewhere around here, so that it's coming. Then we want to go and burn to get to the a little bit higher orbit and then basically wait for it. I'm gonna repackage the chutes. I don't think we need to repack the chutes, but just in case. Let's say that we don't have enough, you know, Delta V and we need to land and plan the rescue mission. You want to have your chutes ready. Alright. Okay, let's accelerate it just it's a little bit there, and let's get ready to burn. Okay, we are ready, we have everything, and close the materials bay, retract the ladders, and let's go. There we go. We're gonna burn eastwards, and I'm gonna aim for slightly higher orbit. Let's take up the landing legs. So slightly higher orbit than the command module itself. Also, I'm doing the flying low science because I figured that would be also some additional point of science. After all, we are here to collect science. So as much as you can, we were collecting the flying high when we were descending, and we are collecting flying low when we are ascending. See? Handy, right? Alright. Atmospheric pressure, transferring the data, doing another set of experiments just to be on the safe side that we didn't miss anything. Alright, the apoapsis is around 90-ish, and I think it's good. See, we already have close encounters, but we cannot do the maneuver nodes. So, as I said, we'll have to eyeball it. We can see when the close encounter will happen, but we cannot plan for it. That's a downside of taking a scientist rather than a pilot, but then again, if you are experienced and you have flown it many times like I have, you just know that you'll be able to eyeball it anyway. So, okay, we're getting to orbit. There we go. And now we're also looking at the intersect and hoping that the two of them will align eventually. There we go. Okay, getting close, almost. All right. That looks good, actually. Oh, they're a little bit spread apart. Okay, it doesn't matter. We'll burn a little bit more. And also we have to mind that our periapsis should be above the atmosphere, so above 50. So I'm actually pushing for the 50 mark. Okay, well, hold on. We have on the rendezvous on the other side, and it's actually really close. So I'm actually gonna be... Okay, separation, 1.3 kilometers. Well, that's amazing. Okay, we're gonna take that one, actually. That sounds just crazy good. Alright, then we're gonna warp close to the encounter. That sounds fantastic. Alright, so yeah. So what you want to do is you want to be coming... There we go. And right now we are actually really close to the target. So what we're gonna do is now I'm trying to align my, retrograde markers both and while at the same time reducing the velocity. What I'm doing is I'm aligning pink and yellow markers together. When they're aligned, we are going straight towards the object that you want to rendezvous with the target velocity of 56 meters per second. Make sure just that you're in target relative mode. And as you can see, it will, the yellow marker will try to side slip as you are approaching closer and closer. But if you're burning retrograde, essentially you're just pushing it by burning from the side that you are doing. So target, as you can see, we are actually 5 meters per second velocity and we're 200 meters off. We can already see the command module in the distance. Now, that wasn't so scary, now was it? 90 meters, we are getting close, and yeah, so as you can see how well lit the module is, and that's because of the landing lights that I have. So now if I just want to stop my relative velocity completely and I turn around, it will get darker, but then I have this other set of lights which will illuminate it again. Haha, see? Those are the small secrets of the pros. Well, I don't consider myself as a pro, but and also aligning the, docking ports. So now, as you see, we did have a little bit, RCS in our command capsule, and we're using it to rendezvous with this bad boy. There we go. Come on. And, oh, come on, dock, you bastard. There we go, docked. So one thing that we have to really remember, I'm just going to turn this so we have very nice view of everything. Sorry, Bob, that you're upside down, but then again in space there is no upside down. Collect all of the science. This is the reason why I brought this science capsule. When you right click and collect all, you're essentially picking up all of the experiments from the lander's capsule and transferring them into the command module's capsule. So you no longer have to worry about anything. Thank you, Bob. You are getting back into the command module, and now it's time to plan for the, maneuver node of transfer to Kerbin. So there we go. And that's going to happen in 1 year and 163 days. Good thing I'm not playing with life support. Okay, so I have actually just time skipped, which looked something like this, until the burn, which we have for getting to Kerbin. The burn will be happening in 45 minutes and everything will be dandy. So there you go. Decouple, and we will be leaving the lander in the orbit of Duna. We don't need anything more than that. Alright, and now we press the green marker, which will basically take us straight to the maneuver. There you go. Alright. Perfect, and the burn will be in 40 seconds, and let's just see. Yeah, we do have a transfer to Kerbin. Good. A quick check doesn't hurt, and look, it's 640 meters per second to get there, an additional probably some amount to basically decelerate. Ooh, that was a close call. Whew. Yeah, I forgot we had the lander on top. Okay, alright, watch it. Careful, 18 meters per second. Let's decrease the thrust so that we can fine-tune the maneuver node and the encounter. Okay. Kerbin periapsis. I'm just now thrusting until I get it reduced to an acceptable level. 7,600. I think that's good enough, to be honest. I don't think we should burn more. It's good enough. It's deep within the Kerbin's gravity well. Now we increase the throttle, and maybe even I disable the engine, but that's it. Scientist, EVA. We do want to collect all the delicious experiments that we can. After all, it's just good practice. Now, we no longer have all of the experiments, but we did them on the way in, so we don't have to worry. The only one that you want to be collecting is the EVA report, because it's biome dependent. So as we are crossing different biomes, we are doing EVA reports. Time to leave Duna. There we go. This is Duna Departure. Bye-bye, Duna, and thanks for all the science. Time to get back to Kerbin. Oh, and there's Ike in the background. Now, isn't this a poetic setting? Beautiful. Bye-bye, and thank you. So, we are already set to encounter Kerbin, so we don't really need to be worrying too much about it. So, nothing more than just accelerating time and waiting until we get a proper, encounter. So, there we go. Alright, let's do the burn. How much? Okay. And the thing that actually worries me is that I don't see any SOI change, because we don't seem to have an encounter. But the moment that I stop a time acceleration, we do have an encounter. So I was worried that the time skip will actually, we will skip an encounter with Kerbin, but there's an easy way to fix it. I'm going to show you just how. You come close, and then you plot a maneuver node. See? And then you plot a maneuver node, and then we're actually going to be creating an alarm to that maneuver node. So there we go here. All right, and yeah, it's a maneuver node of 0 meters per second. So yeah, and now we can just manually, accelerate until we get an encounter. And here we have an encounter. So now at this point of maneuver, what I want to be doing, let's switch to and focus on Kerbin. I really want to do a really nice, equatorial. We have more than enough delta V to actually come from, equator and land really nicely on Kerbin. So that's, I'm hoping for, let's see, 40,000 meters per second. I actually think that's enough. And I'm not going to be performing the power. I'm going to just try to aero brake, hopefully. Let's see. So, 100? Yeah, let's say... I'm going to try an aero brake. Let's go for the periapsis of, say, 35-ish, and then we will be performing the descent. Alright, there we go. Perfect. Alright, so after we're done this, then we'll be pretty much wrapped up for the episode, guys. So, see? Final burn to get us to where we need to be going, and then we will be landing. So, this is amazing. Alright. There we go. And, okay, a little bit higher, because 14 periapsis is really scary. 39, I think we can actually survive. We have a very thick heat shield, so, okay. Orbit retrograde, and there we go. Collect all of the science data, make sure that our drogue and drag chutes are in the correct states. There we go, in the correct stages, so to say, and then we will be finally entering. So, sit back and enjoy while we enter around Kerbin and hopefully get our Kerbal safely home. This is the final part of the mission, and after which, well, basically... Really appreciate if you guys tell me in the comments, how do you do the mission? Do you do it Apollo style, or do you just land and come back? How much delta V does it take you? How efficient you are? You saw that I'm not really efficient, I over-engineer things, but that's just my shtick. Alright, so we are coming very close. I'm actually thinking, oh, should I be doing the burn? And I decided I'm just gonna wing it. Alright, so as we are coming in... There we go. Let's decouple the stage. I mean, I could have gone for the power burn. I had more than enough fuel, but I just figured it would be cool to see if we can really, with the apoapsis of 30-ish, 39, if we could really re-enter just using the aero capture. So let's see. A moment of silence and terror as everybody holds their breath while Jeb, Bill and Bob are getting into the Kerbin. And beautiful, we will be landing in the daylight if everything goes well. Alright, seems like we have survived the re-entry and popping the drogue chutes, popping the main chutes, and look at that. Beautiful. Seems like our Kerbals are finding their way safely. Isn't that amazing? Isn't it glorious? There we go. Let's just check how much science we got, and then we'll be wrapping it up for the episode. Performing some final dashes of science because I'm a greedy bastard, and yeah, alright. Every ounce of science counts, so make sure that you take a surface sample, EVA report and whatnot, get in, and let's see. A whopping 2,900 science. Well, there you go, guys. You know what to do. Smash that like button, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Thanks for watching.